Studying animal behavior offers insights into human social bonding and altruism. Interacting with animals can increase oxytocin level. Many of our behaviors, which we don't think about much, can be understood when we observe them in other animals. When you say empathy towards others, it includes towards other people. Yes, studying animal behavior can be beneficial for interpersonal empathy. What do we have to get from this animal? Do we have to get anything special? Of course we have. It has extended to solving our health issues. That is the current one. So I'll be, towards the end of this talk, I'll be mentioning, how these observations will help our health system improvement. Yes, of course. So it's not a trivial matter to look at animals, observe them, their behavior, their whole physiology, their biochemistry, their molecular biology. Yeah, that's what the world of science is doing now. So, okay. Yeah, it's about animal habits, lessons of a human lifestyle. Yes, although it says animal habits, we'll be looking at animal behavior mainly, and how their physiology would affect us in an indirect way. So that's what we are going to look at today. So can you have the next slide? Okay. And often we ask these questions: why do praying mantises display a unique mating system called sexual cannibalism, where a member of a male-female pair kills and consumes the other during courtship or copulation? At the end of every summer, why do more than 100 million monarch butterflies sweep across North America to overwinter further south in California and Mexico? Animal behavior is a study of these and other questions about why animals behave the way they do. Helping us to explain our own behavior. Yes, this will help us. The study of animal behavior begins with understanding how an animal's physiology and anatomy are integrated with its behavior. Both external and internal stimuli from behaviors. External information, threats from other animals, sound, smells, or weather, and internal information, hunger or fear. Understanding how genes and the environment come together to shape animal behavior also is important. Genes capture the evolutionary responses of prior populations to selections on behavior. Environmental flexibility gives animals the opportunity to adjust to changes during their own lifetime. So, what are these observations helping us to explain our own behavior? Why do we behave like this? Look at the animals. They may have something to tell us. Why study animal behavior? Studying animal behavior offers insights into human social bonding and altruism. Interacting with animals can increase oxytocin level. That is one of the hormones, what we call the love hormone. So you observe the animal, interact with them, your oxytocin hormone level may go up. Understanding animal behavior can potentially illuminate the motivations behind human actions, including cooperation and sacrifice. Animal behavior also helps us understand how animals express internal motivations and emotional states, vital for animal health and survival. Can you have the next slide, please? Our physiologies are the same. If you compare our physiology, it's almost the same. To study stress hormone in fish and observe that a stress hormone in fish is very similar in structure and function to a stress hormone, cortisol, that humans secrete when they are in danger. When you are armed with this fact and knowing what environmental factors can cause stress in the fish, you can find ways to predict when a fish population will crash on a certain area. Then you can take measures to prevent this from happening. So that people can eat fish. That's not the ultimate aim, but still, our physiologies are the same. So if you observe their behavior, their physiology, we can learn about us. That is the point. And we get reassurance from animals. Many of our behaviors, which we don't think about much, can be understood when we observe them in other animals. For instance, we can recognize the survival value in animals nurturing each other and gives evidence of empathy for each other. It confirms and validates us to know this. Yes, it's reaffirming. It's very simple because we evolved from them and they have more experience in this world. They were here billions and billions years ago. We are kind of recent on the face of the earth. Our history goes back to maybe 200,000, 300,000 years ago. That's all, human beings. But they have billions of years of experience on the face of the earth. So it makes a big difference. So we get reassurance from animals. Empathy is universal. If you think this is some kind of a monopoly of human beings, no. Empathy. When you study animal behavior, it gives you a window to thoughts and feelings of various creatures. Then you understand why it is not unreasonable for friendships to develop between species. The empathy that can develop from this is amazing. Its empathy is universal. Animals do have empathy in between them and to human beings. We know that. If any of you have pets, you'll know how dear they are to you. That's okay. But to you also, they are very dear to us. At the same time, we are very dear to them. Empathy is universal. Can you have the next slide? When you say empathy towards others, it includes towards other people. Yes, studying animal behavior can be beneficial for interpersonal empathy. There are studies being done to see if this is true. Yes, it's going to be true. We can predict. Can you have the next slide, please? Animals have better health habits than us. That is for sure. They have better health habits. We don't have it. Because of the technology and the improvement in technology, we kind of altered ourselves. We are going to talk about it. The performance of certain behaviors can lead to improvements in physical health. The beneficial effects of exercise on humans are well known, and similar effects can be observed in animals given the opportunity to engage in species typical patterns of locomotion. For example, dairy cows walked daily have fewer leg problems, including non-infectious leg and hoof disorders, as well as lower incidence of mastitis. Mastitis is something problem with the teeth, bloat, and calving-related disorders than cows kept in the stall. They walk around. They're better. Captive birds whose movement is restricted tend to develop osteoporosis and osteoarthritis. And 5% of caged laying hens are found to have old, healed bone breaks at necropsy. Necropsy is kind of degeneration of body parts. Yes. So that is a big difference. They have better health habits because they move around. We sit a lot, especially in this computer age. You sit in front of the computer, your laptop, or you sit and look at your cell phone or mobile phone. We don't move around as we should. But animals are much more healthier because they haven't left the habit of moving around. Can you have the next slide? Human behavior is necessarily better than non-human behavior. I always said that. Animals do not kill their own species members. Have you thought about it? Animals do not kill their own species. Only when they are in danger. If there's a dangerous situation, they may kill. Otherwise, they will never ever kill their own species. But look at us. We do kill. We do kill. It's going on now. It's going. We get into wars. We declared countries all over the world. We made imaginary, artificial boundaries, and then we kill between each other. Or even in single country, we kill each other, the same species. So our behavior is no way better than them. Nope. In fact, it is worse. Animals do not kill their own species members. If there's only a very tough competition for food, they may, but that's also very, very rare. They do not. We do. We do kill each other. It's a fact which we have to accept. Yes, we all know that. All right. Can you have the next slide? And it's for survival. Human and non-human animals all are trying to make their way in the world. Behaviors are all geared towards improving an individual's chances of survival and thriving. Different behaviors occur not because any one species is better than another. What differs is the environment and what each of us needs to survive and thrive. Yes, the world is very environmentally, there are differences, but all these animals are suited for that. We are still trying. Yes, we are still trying to make their way in the world. So, in that sense, we are in the same boat. Yes, we are in the same situation, and we are doing it for survival. Can you have the next slide? Animals do know what works better for them. Non-human animals behave differently than humans because that's what their situations demand. What works for humans would not necessarily work for animals. Humans do not understand everything better about what works. They just understand what works best for them in the particular situation. So animals do know what works better for them. What works better is a matter of context, not a matter of what is better or worse. So they do that according to the context. And we never imagined that. We never approved that they can decide what was better for the context. And they do it really well. We still have to learn such things from them. We work emotionally. Many of our decisions are based on our emotions. That's not what animals do. They're very practical. They look for survival. So they know the best way to react, not us. We are temperamental. Yes. We do things when we get angry. And if we have to take a decision, sometimes we get angry. Nope. Animals don't do that. Can you have the next slide, please? Psychotherapy and counseling have roots in animal psychology. Yes. Psychotherapy improved a lot observing animals. Can we have the other slide? Freud, apes and primates. How are all these related? Sigmund Freud famously did a lot of work on describing how understanding animal behavior could help us understand human psychology. His writings on psychoanalysis emphasized a good deal about what was known at the time about apes and other primates. Studies of apes contributed to his famous theory called Oedipal complex. He got it by observing apes. To his work on social psychology, based on observing animal behavior, even though much of his work has been debunked in recent decades, he did provide considerable material that later psychotherapy authors and theories built on. Yes, Freud was a great observer of animals, and the basic theories of psychology we developed from his convictions. That is the truth of it. Animal behavior and us. Can we have the next slide? Pigeons and rats. B.F. Skinner is a famous scientist for developing another very prominent branch of psychotherapy called behavior therapy. This later formed the base of what is called cognitive behavior therapy. Skinner did a good deal of work on animals, and in fact, most of his theories were based primarily on his comparative psychology research. He did work with pigeons and rats that laid out the groundwork for understanding how behaviors work. This information then led to interventions for changing behaviors associated with psychological conditions. His work with animals also created a related field called applied behavior analysis. That is the most common therapeutic approach used to help individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism. Look at that. It came from the birds and rats. The famous scientists would look at the birds and the rats and get educated from them. Unbelievable. Can we have the next slide? Research on animal development helps. So we have to do research on animal development. There's another author named Paul Gilbert who has done a lot of more recent years underscoring how research on animal development contributes to helpful therapy and counseling approaches. He started by looking at how animal research contributed to the development of cognitive therapy and then has more recently developed his own therapy approach, much based on comparative psychology research called compassion-focused therapy. And he got it from observing animal development, not observing, doing research. Can you have the next slide? Behavior, there's a spelling mistake. Sorry about that. Behaviors are the same. That's a typing error. Behaviors may look very different across different animal species. Humans, in particular, often look like their behaviors are very different from those shown by other animals. But the truth is that all behaviors, whether they come from human or non-human animals, follow very similar role. It's something which is a little bit difficult to digest because many of us would refuse to agree with this, but that is the truth. It's the same. Our behavior and animal behavior, very similar. So there's nothing wrong, or not only that, in fact, that is right, to observe animal behavior and study and get some insight into our behavior. Can you have the next slide? The study of animal behavior provides a wealth of knowledge and offers a diverse range of benefits for humans. It helps us understand ourselves better, improve our health and well-being, develop innovative solutions, and contribute to the conservation and management of our planet's diverse ecosystem. That's why we are talking about this today. Wealth of knowledge and offers a diverse range of benefits for humans. We will talk about it in more detail soon. Benefit for humans. Of course, we look for a benefit whenever we do some work. We think that's cost effective. We have to look at it why we are doing this. It is a diverse range of benefits for humans. It helps us understand ourselves better. We are going to look at that soon in a little bit more detailed way. Can you have the next slide? Interact with animals, and we have animal-assisted interventions. The human-animal interaction can have positive effects on mental health, reducing symptoms of depression, anxiety, and stress. And the stress could be reduced. Companion animals can help regulate stress levels in humans to the release of hormones like oxytocin. I talked about that before. Promoting positive emotions. Interacting with animals can increase positive emotions. Cognitive and personality development. Companion animal ownership can encourage positive development of children, potentially benefit, yes. There is for functioning with individuals with conditions like Alzheimer's. Yeah, there are too. to behave along with other animals. Even children, it's an old belief and which has scientific basis that children should be around goats, sheep, or cows. That will help them. Many those who have mental retardation, even here, I'm talking about this country, United States of America, even now, with all the science behind, uh, if the children are mentally retarded or if they have other problems, they are let go with the sheep. And there are a lot of sheep farms where children can go and play with them. Your brain will get better. Your behavior will get better. Your intellect will get better if you spend time with, especially at a younger age. So it is a valid treatment. Now there's a lot more scientific evidence behind that. Yes, children um, having time with the sheep or goat. Cows are not that friendly. They are bigger, but sheep are really good, very friendly, and children can play with them, and it's good for their brain. There's truth behind it. We are going to look into how truthful it is. Cognitive and personality development, you have to be with animals, and that's why we had goats and sheep and cows in our households with our old style. But we moved to apartment buildings, high-rise buildings, and our conditions have changed and we are secluded. We are locked into few rooms. We don't have the facility, yes, but anybody having a house on the ground, please have sheep around. Please have goats around. You can get milk from them too. If you are growing children, it's good for them. Yes, unbelievable, is it not? Okay, can you have the next slide? And practical applications are there. Biomimicry, studying animal adaptations and behaviors can inspire innovative solutions to human problems, leading new technologies and designs based on nature's engineering. That is, the animals or nature's engineering products. Animal handling and welfare. Understanding animal behavior allows safer and more human handling practices. Conservation and environmental management. Knowledge of animal behavior is vital for designing effective conservation. That's for animals, how we should take care of them. Pest control and agriculture, understanding animal foraging behavior also. So there are practical applications for the sake of animals. Can you have the next slide? Scientific advancement, foundations of knowledge. Animal behavior studies cornerstone of various fields. Methodological advances. Many of the methodologies used to study human behavior, such as experimental design and observational techniques, were initially developed in animal behavior research. Neurobiological insights. Research into animal behavior can provide a framework for understanding the neural mechanisms underlying complex behavior. Yes, our brain studies all are done on mice now. Do you know that? We know about our brain not because we observe human brain. We cannot tease it apart. We cannot cut it. We cannot chop it. But unfortunately, mice brain or other brains, we observe those brains, and now we know much more about our brains. Scientific advancement, observing animals in a deeper way. Can I have the next slide? And merits of animal behavior, why should we look at it? And I'm summarizing. Human can observe and adapt these exemplary animal habits. Social activity, trust, resilience, goal-oriented deeds, achievement sense, fostering independence of the young. These are animal behavior we have to look at in detail. Yes, look at that. Humans can observe and adapt these exemplary animal habits. They're more social activity. They don't have any special benefits to gain. It's unrequited. And it's not selfish at all. They're social activities. Our social activities are limited to our selfish motives. So we have to look at animals and change our social activity and trust. They trust in each other much better than us. I told you before, we kill each other. We don't trust. We kill each other for very silly reasons. They never do that. They trust their own kith and kin and all their species very well. Not only their species, other animals. Resilience, they will come back to the former state quickly. If they're in trouble, they have much more power to come back to the former situation, and they'll come back easily. Goal-oriented deeds, yes, they don't do any silly work like us. It's always goal-oriented. Achievement sense, of course, they do have. It's kind of surprising. We won't believe, but yes, of course, they're goal-oriented, and there's a practical motivation behind it. And once they achieve, they feel good too. Yes, fostering independence of the young. They do it very young. They teach their young at a very, very young age. And sometimes they will push the young bird from the cage, from the nest. The mother may push so that the young bird may fly earlier. We don't do that. We keep our children under our wings all the time, although we say that under our wings. Birds do not keep the young under their wings, only in emergencies they do that. But we think that's better. No, make your children independent. That's what animals do. And there's a purpose behind it. There's a motivation behind it, and it works very well. And those are the merits of looking at animal behavior. We have to adapt a lot of it from them. Can you have the next slide? And let us come to us. What about us? We are very young in evolutionary scale. We are still evolving. We are, as I said, we are here only like 200,000, 300,000 years. That's it, Homo sapiens. We are kind of very recent on the face of the earth. Unlike other animals, they have experience. They have been evolving for millions of years, not us. We are very nascent and recent. If you consider the whole 24-hour as a history of universe, human beings appeared on the last minute, in the last 1 hour. And they were here for all that, like the 23 hours. Many were here. So they went through this. They went through a lot of trials and tribulations. And they corrected themselves. They tidied themselves up. Our brain is evolving very fast. That did not happen to animals. We haven't figured out how exactly to get completely adapted. Animals are completely adapted because they have time. We are still trying. But if we get so many afflictions, we get so many diseases. Many of the animals do not get that many. Now that, yes, we have big hospitals. We have thousands of us going into each hospitals. They don't do that. There's no need to do that. Think of penguins. Think of a big flock of penguins. Like there could be thousands of them. How many of them need treatment? None of them. None of them would need it. Nope. Other animals were for millions of years. And many got extinct. If they were not good, they died away. They got extinct. Yes, of course. That is how nature works. If they don't fit to the situation, they will be dropped out. And human species, two of us got extinct. They were human-like, not Homo sapiens, Neanderthals. Denisovans, in part of Europe and Asia, they were there, now extinct. They could not fit properly. They had even more diseases. Neanderthal had even more diseases. Yes, human beings are still under so many agonies of diseases. Can you have the next slide? And we deviated from evolutionary roles. We deviated a lot. That is what makes a big difference from animals. That's why we have to look into animal behavior. We changed our food. We altered our body use, which is not fit for evolution. We don't move that much. We are supposed to run around. We are supposed to climb a tree most of the time. Can you believe? Yes. You have tried We should move. Yes. If you have back pain, sometimes doctor will advise you to walk without shoes on sand. We always cover our foot with shoes, artificial, and our gait is different. Our walking style is different, and we get back pain. So walk on the sand. That's what the doctor may advise without shoes. And the body use is completely different. We don't use our body as much as we should do. We modify food, we process food, we preserve it, add other ingredients to it. We smoke the food. Smoked food, although it may taste very well, it's not good. You can get esophageal or stomach cancer. If we smoke the yes, we alter our food, we process it. We pack it, we pickle it, we dry it, we package food in cans and plastic. And we get microplastic in our body. We have so much tiny particles of plastic in our body, yes. And in cans, we pack in cans, and we don't know what all things come out of those cans. We alter our food. We make it artificial. We drink alcohol, yes. In fact, that's a poison. Animals don't do that, all right? Yes. It's a custom. It's a system. All over the world, we drink alcohol. We altered our habits and habitat. We changed our environment a lot, yes. There are less trees on the face of the earth. Every minute, there's a count that every minute, like so many thousands of trees are disappearing from the face of the earth. We are altering our habit and habitat. Can you have the next slide? And we are not innocent. Okay, we altered our eco habits. Humans designed novel food patterns. Technology assisted this. So we are looking at how we have distanced from our innate animal behavior, which has their own impacts. Technology assisted this, yes. Our brain evolved and we found a lot of technical contraptions. Almost all of the vegetables are newly designed. Do you know that? All the vegetables, most of them we use, we bred them. They are genetically altered. You may get surprised because nobody likes genetically altered food or vegetables. They all are genetically altered by breeding. We did that centuries ago. There was no molecular biology. There's no gene transfer. We genetically altered our food. Rice, wheat, they all came from wild varieties. Tomatoes came from wild varieties. We made them. Yes. Cauliflower, bananas, we did breeding and we made new bred varieties by interbreeding. Yes. So don't think we are innocent. Our food itself, and now we are suffering because of this food alteration. We distanced from animal instincts because our brain is much better. Our brain is very complex. And we devised technology. Can you have the next slide? And so we become unhealthy human. Why do we get cancer so much? Yes, we get so much cancer. True. No other animals. Maybe we do not get enough time to adapt and we are still trying, but the truth of the matter is that cancer is so prevalent in human beings. And that so we are much better in cancer treatment, but it is kind of unknown in other animals what is happening. That is why we have to observe animals, their behavior, their pattern, their pattern of life. Yes, why do we get cancer? Can I have the next slide? Animals rarely get cancer. I made only a single statement on this slide because this is the truth of it. Animals rarely get cancer. So that's why you have to look into animals. Okay, cancer is the emperor of all maladies. Yes, that's a famous book by the Indian scientist. Yes. the emperor of all maladies. Animals rarely get cancer. Can we go to the next slide? What can we really learn from animals? How to ward off all these afflictions? How do they prevent cancer? Yes, we can ask them. That's what we are doing. Modern science is looking at them. Why don't they get cancer? Let us look into it in a little bit detail. Can you have the next slide? Blue whale lives 100 years. It weighs 200 tons. It's not 200 pounds. It is 200 ton. It's not 200 kilo. Think. With the trillions of cells, by calculation, they should get cancer when they age. Normally, if you have more cells, if you are bigger, you have more cells in most of the animals. Yes. And then you have a better chance of getting cancer. If you are big and if you have more cells, the cells divide in an uncontrollable fashion and you may get cancer. So there was a theory earlier, the bigger you are, there's more chance you will get cancer. So even scientists thought that bigger animals can get cancer easily. Nope, that's not true. Blue whale, 200 tons, they do not get cancer. Elephants do not get cancer. Yes, elephants do not get cancer. Cute. It's surprising. Yes, they do not. They're big. Not only big or small. Animals do not get cancer. So we have to look into animals. That's what is happening these days. Can you have the next slide? Cancer, not us, that's what animals are saying. Naked mole rats, it's a tiny, it's not big, it's a tiny mole rat. It's not, mole rats do not belong to the rat variety, but it's called naked mole rat. They're underground, you can never see the outside. So they're albinos, they're white, yes. And you'll never see them because they make tunnels below and they eat on the roots and earthworms and other small animals. And the naked mole rats, most of the birds do not get cancer. Lizards do not get cancer. A lot of animals never, yes, they never get cancer. Many of the large animals like bowhead whale, manatees is that big sea animal, ocean animal. Dugong is another one, and sea cows. Capybara is a rodent, are resistant to cancer. And now they're helping us to treat cancer. So animals are saying, cancer, hey, not us. We don't get cancer. You, human beings, get cancer. Can you have the next slide? Cancer is cell division going out of control. That is cancer. Cells are, okay, we need cell division for repair. And then when the repair is over, the cell division should stop. But in cancer cells, they divide, and divide. That's not good. There's no control over it. They divide and divide, they make a big tumor. Cells divide with no limitations. They detach and spread all over the body. Yeah, if you get cancer in one part of the body, for example, in bladder, and after a while, the doctor will say it is too late because it has spread all over your body. Because the cancer cells would like to travel. They don't stick together. And they travel all over the body. It will spread. That's called metastasize. They will spread all over the body. Breast cancer is notorious for traveling. Breast cancer cells, if you have breast cancer, you may get later. If the treatment is not proper, if you don't control it, may spread. It's cell division going out of control. They don't listen. They are cells who became mean and bad. They don't listen to controls. Normally, we have agents, like we have genes, so proteins to control this. Our immune system also is keeping a guard. And we have tumor suppressor genes. The cells are always ready to divide, but we have genes called tumor suppressor genes telling them, hey, don't divide. We don't want you to make a tumor. So these tumor suppressor genes will take care of this. Why are we talking about this? Well, we are going to look into animals and see what they do, how they control this. Can you have the next slide? Repair, or else, when cells are damaged, especially DNA, they should be repaired. Yes, we get them repaired. If not repaired, they may become tumorigenic, they become cancerous. We have to repair the cells quickly. So the repair mechanism is important here. Yes. When cells are damaged, especially DNA, they should repair. Can you have the next slide? And there are oncogenes, genes which may cause cancer if not controlled properly. We all have oncogenes. We have many of them. So they are ready to become cancer genes. Onco means cancer. They can misbehave one day. We all have it. Think of that. We all have it. That is to support cell division. We need cell division. And they will support cell division, but you never know when they will misbehave, oncogenes. They can become real, bad, mean oncogenes. Genes which may cause cancer if not controlled properly. But we have, thank God, we have proper control. That's why we don't get cancer. Let us look further. Can I have the next slide? Evolution selected animals to adopt techniques to prevent cancer. The naked mole rat exhibits remarkable cancer resistance, attributed to its plethora of tumor suppressor genes. They have a lot of tumor suppressor genes. And an absence of oncogenes. Think of that. We have a lot of oncogenes, but naked mole rat do not have oncogenes. Their efficient DNA repair mechanism prevents cumulative mutations during DNA replication, safeguarding against age-related health decline. Yeah, when they get aged, they don't have maladies, afflictions like human beings. Their DNA repair mechanism is really efficient. We don't have it. Poor us. Can you have the next slide? That is the naked mole rat. Since it is underground, it cannot see properly, and the eyes are very small. It's all dark anyway, the place where they're here, and they don't have much of hair or anything because they're always underground. They don't have any color because they are always underground. That's the naked mole rat. No oncogene, no cancer, nothing. It may look weird and ugly, but you should admire this creature, efficient compared to us. Can you have the next slide? Many ways to control cancer. Naked mole rats possess several mechanisms. They produce a large amount of hyaluronan. Don't worry about that chemical, that scientific term. A sugar molecule that physically traps and prevents the spread of cancer cells. Additionally, they have a unique microenvironment that inhibits the development of tumors, including an evolutionarily adapted immune system. Furthermore, their cells are hypersensitive to contact inhibition. That means they kind of, once they are stuck together, they don't divide, a process that prevents cells from growing out of control. If cells are stuck together, they don't divide. The problem with cancer cells is they don't stick together, then they divide. But very efficient. This thing is very efficient in naked mole rat. And we can study, we can look at them, and we can adapt, and we can have new treatment regimens for cancer. Can you have the next slide? And now active research is underway to adapt the mechanisms the above animals execute to prevent cancer. The biggest lesson we would learn from animals, hope to discover new ways to fight this deadly disease. That is why today's talk is relevant. Look at the animals. Look at animal behavior. Look at animal habitats. And look at animal habits. They're much better. We need to learn from them how to treat us, how to get treatment for cancer. Yes. It's practically, it is happening now. Can you have the next slide? That's the magical gene called P53. That's the major tumor suppressor genes. We all have this gene to suppress the tendency to form cancer. They help damaged cells to recover. If cannot be repaired, lead them to death. Yes, we kill them. If the cells cannot be repaired, oh, there's a mercy killing. We have to kill them. We kill them. And this gene will do that. So this gene prevents tumor formation. If babies are born with non-functional P53, that happens rarely, they would get childhood cancer. Most of the childhood cancers is caused by this gene not working properly. P53 is a major gene which will suppress tumor formation. I don't want to go into details of science today. All right, can you have the next slide? And P53 copies. Why don't elephants get it? Elephants have many copies of this gene. Can you believe? They have 20, African elephants have 20 copies of the gene. Plenty. That is why they do not get cancer. So this is what we have to adapt. Can we increase the P53 gene in our bodies, in ourselves? Or can we make them more functional? We have to look at elephants for this. Moreover, any cell damage will not persist and lead to cancer, but they would be led to self-death. That's what elephants do. Attempts are being undertaken to infuse elephant P53 gene into human tumors. We are trying. There's something special with these tumor suppressor genes in elephants, and experiments are already there. They are out. And some of the results look good. That is why we took this topic today. Look at the animals, not just look at them. Look how better they are. Can you have the next slide? P53 copies into the tumor. Elephants and cancer have other ways too. They have leukemia inhibiting factor. They never get blood cancer. Leukemia is blood cancer. They have special proteins to inhibit leukemia. Elephants' cousins in the evolutionary pattern, like hyraxes, aardvarks, and sea cows, they all are related on the basis of evolution. Manatees also have P53 duplication. They have these tumor suppressed genes in plenty. Can you have the next slide? Whales. We began the talk with the whales. They have some other tricks. They do not have this many P53 tumor suppressor, but they have special proteins to inhibit cell divisions. Especially when unwanted cell division occurs, if there's any sign of one cell misbehaving and trying to make cancer, oh, that cell will be taken, disciplined immediately. Whales have that special trick. Whales have increased DNA repair capabilities. The underlying molecular mechanisms are now being tried in human cancer cells. We are learning it from whales. We never thought that. Like 20 years ago, we didn't even think about this. Yes. How do they control cancer? Special proteins, copies of P53, all these kind of tricks. Can you have the next slide? In capybara, there's a large variant of rodent, belongs to the rat and mice family. Immune cells are, there are two R's, sorry about that, set ready to attack tumor cells. So cancer is rare. In capybara, cancer is rare because they have special immune system. Our immune system also would take care of the cancer. Yes. Can you have the next slide? This is a capybara. It's a rodent. It belongs to the rat mice family, but look how big it is. Compared to a cat, it's much bigger, but very smart. Control cancer very well. The special immune system to control cancer. So this also is now a big study material, trying to get a cure for cancer in human beings. You look at the strange rodent capybara. Can you have the next slide? Other side of the story. Well, this is not true of all the animals. Ferrets and opossums are related to kangaroos, have very high rate of cancer incidence. Yes, they do. Ferrets and opossums. So not all the animals are blessed with a special cancer preventive mechanism. Some of them do have high incidence like humans. All these studies indicate how well suited are animal studies in dealing with human maladies. Now we are looking into ferrets and possums and looking into why they get cancer so that we get some good lessons from them. So we can get more idea on the causation, the origin and development of cancer in us. Yes, look deeper into animals, their physiology, their biochemistry, their molecular biology, their genetics. It would help. That's why at the beginning I said in the healthcare situation is going to advance our finding, our understanding in a great way. Can you have the next slide? Simply animal models. Now all of the above animals are providing us models to unravel cancer controlling mechanisms, and scientists trying to adapt the story to humans. That's the moral of the story today. Simply animal models. Can we have the next slide? A long time fan of evolution. Remember, all these animals took millions of years to evolve. We didn't, as I said, we just came in the morning. If it is a 24-hour universe time, we are in the last hour. Maybe we are still evolving. We may get resistant to cancer after thousands and thousands of years later, but we cannot wait. But we humans have outrun evolutionary designs and timescales. We develop technology by a super fast evolving brain. Now we cannot wait thousands and thousands of years to evolve. And then we say we will take care of cancer thousands and thousands of years later when we evolve much better like other animals like whales or elephants or capybara. No, but we don't have time. Our brain is much better. It's evolving in a faster way, and it is going to tell us, it's going to devise more methods quickly, or we don't have time. We better do it quick. Can you have the next slide? That's it. Our prefrontal cortex, the part behind your forehead, that is where the thought process, the intellectual part is the prefrontal, the front part of your brain. That is highly developed in us, not in other animals. That is why we are ahead of them, but not in cancer and other things. Sorry about that. But our prefrontal cortex, the front part of the brain, is highly developed. That is why we have the forehead projecting out, unlike a chimpanzee or a gorilla.